cop, so he can have this.
Welcome back. I'm back. I'm actually still drawing the exact same pictures that I drew in the other video that I will post and link both of them together so you can see it.
Shows up, not after. And so now here's the thing, like with Cobb showing up and really just laying down the truth thick, like look, I'm your great grandfather to the times.
Oh, this is the video that I was talking about in the other video. This is the next part too.
Nuts. And that's really Richard's response. Like, dude, are you crazy? If you're my great grandfather, you'd be over 100, and if alive, you certainly wouldn't be moving like this.
Facts.
It's that Cobb's speaking about Richard's past, which do line up with the pieces.
And this is not sponsored again. Just want to let you know it's not sponsored. Yeah.
Like, okay,
but this guy does his own videos and everything himself. So
possible that some of this is
he's
true.
very good.
He
He explains everything in this comic book. This is for comic books, nerds and everything. He explains everything. It's amazing.
And the same for B, because if he really just wanted to come from Bloodhaven and make the murder count match his name, he would have very much done that prior to this point. But during this time that he's fighting Rick and also trying to explain his point to him, he lets him know first and foremost that Rick is a Grayson and he was born with his purpose. But of course, through the years with Richard being trained by Batman, he fights with what Talon refers to as a weakness or a limitation because Richard does not fight to kill. But Talon like, that's alright, we're gonna fix that. Because from this night forward, Richard Grayson is going to finally be with his true family. But just before he gets into the details of how so, like, and trust me, we're gonna get into that. But just before he does, the sign of Perpetual goes to Scott. And of course, B and Richard have no idea what this means. But it's pretty obvious that it's not a good thing. Because it's like, when you see that sign in the sky, you may not know what you're looking at, like, the average person, but you know good and well that ain't a rainbow. And for the record,
look, Bobby, it's a rainbow. I don't think that's a rainbow.
Down in the description that'll fill you in all of that, and that'll better prepare you for Year of the Villain, which we are in the thick of. But trust me, that playlist will get you caught up in a matter of a few hours. And trust me, you really do gotta know what's going on there before you understand or start to understand why that sign is in the sky. But either way, I'm seeing this.
It's for Perpetual. Perpetual? Yeah, it's right, Perpetual.
Flex, who already persuaded Talon to side with Doom. But it isn't to this point.
And she's the bad guy, okay? Perpetual's the bad guy.
To this point, this is how he approached Richard Grayson. And I mean, also prior to the point of when Cobb nearly killed Zack as well. Like, Cobb had intentionally bumped into Richard a few days before all this. And so now what happens here, like, okay, this is where it gets crazy. But what happens here is William Cobb then puts these goggles on Richard, and what these goggles are designed to do are to fill in Richard's memories all the way back from his parents' death up until now. Which I know sounds crazy, but before you trip, we come to find out that this is actually something that has been in the works for quite some time now. And so now for starters, just to be clear, these memories that are being given to Richard, they are very different from the way things actually played out from his parents' death up to this point. And so now to really get down into the details of what this means and what William Cobb has been doing in the background prior to this point, we have got to get into Nightwing Annual number 2, because this annual filled in so many of the gaps, and it really did a number on explaining what's been going on, and I mean like what's truly been going on with Richard Grayson since he was shot by Cage's Beast. And so now with this, going back to Richard's time in the hospital in Gotham, where the doctor who was overseeing his recovery, Dr. Isabella Haas, who of course was the best that money could buy, which is the reason that Bruce had paid the fire in Switzerland so that she could look after Richard and bring him back to full recovery. But of course, Alfred Barbs and
for Batman to be the most intelligent, most smartest man on the freaking planet, he acts like a dumb butt at times. He really does. He's a detective and he acts like an idiot sometimes. Doesn't do his complete story. His detective work.
This is when Bruce started to realize, like, okay, this is real. Because not only does he not recognize Bruce or anything else, but even at this point, he's demanding to be called by his first name, like his mother used to call him, Richard. And so now, as you would expect, Bruce refuses to accept this, and even tells Dr. Haas that if she just can't fix it, he'll find somebody else better. But that's just the problem, because there is no first that there is, and she knows it. So what she ends up doing after this is she ends up recommending that Richard goes over to Bruce's home, because Bruce was the one who took him in when Richard was young, and perhaps revisiting Wayne Manor would help jog some of his memories and help him with his recovery. And with doing so, she stays outside and telling Richard the reason why is because she doesn't want to get in the way of his progress. But when Richard gets inside,
but she is getting in the way of his progress. Oh my God!
Like it really just feels large and empty and cold, likely because all of the marble. But not long after that, when Alfred takes him down to the Batcave, of course it initially comes off pretty creepy. But when Richard goes down into the Batcave, one of the first things that they show him is his old Nightwing suit, which he wore on the night that he was shot. And it still has the blood on it. And it's like, leave it to Bruce to do something like that. And I'm kind of surprised it wouldn't sit next to like a Jason Todd Bloody Robin suit.
I know, right?
Anytime you see something like this, it always puts me in the mindset of, okay, Bruce is doing this for himself, like as a reminder. But going forward, in an attempt to help Richard remember, and doing so by showing him the night that he was shot, which is pretty much the surveillance footage from the roof of GCPD, Richard had a very normal reaction because he
like, what?
And it's like, sure, part of what you're doing is trying to help, but the delivery in which it's being done is terrible. Because a method that would help Bruce Wayne is not going to help everybody else the same way. Like, communication just doesn't work like that. And of course, when this happens, it freaks Richard out, he leaves upset, and he gets Dr. Haas to take him out of there. But one of the things that we discover, unbeknownst to Bruce, and trust me, this will all make sense in a little bit, but one of the things that was happening, like Dr. Haas had brought Richard here in order to build a better contrast from what Richard describes as home and what Wayne Manor actually is. Because prior to his parents' death, the only place they felt like home was with his parents, or even the times he visited his grandparents, because his time was always warm and welcoming. And one of the reminders of this was a book called The Friendly Owl, which was passed down to him because it was a book that his mother would love. And as we know, of course, his mother's obsession with owls due to his family ties with the court of owls. But what ends up happening in the way that things really begin to unfold here is when Dr. Haas recommends for Richard to return to Bloodhaven to continue his recovery, but with doing so, she also hands him a copy of the book, The Friendly Owl, mentioning that it's a book that she also loved as a child, and that she wants Richard to have it in order to help him along the way with his recovery. But here's the thing, here's the kicker, because when she hands him the book and sends him on his way to Bloodhaven, which on the surface seems very harmless, and it sounds logical enough as well, but when he leaves her office, this is when we find out that Dr. Haas has been part of the Court of Owls this whole time, and on top of that they've been listening to every single session. But that's not even the craziest part, because this whole time, Dr. Haas has been treating Richard and intentionally suppressing his memories, specifically back to the time.
Why is my memory
and she's been doing this whole time in order to prep him so that during this time with this selective amnesia, he would stay in a place where only his blood family felt like home. And with this procedure, all of his memories as Robin, as Nightwing, his memories of Bruce, Bart, all of those are there, but they've been deeply suppressed. Well, Dr. Haas doing this and suppressing those memories and then sending him to Bloodhaven, this then presented the space and opportunity for William Cobb to bring the goggles, which would instill within Richard new memories as if he had been raised as an assassin instead. And with doing this, the Owls are essentially making him a
whoever writes the story and the narrative and all that stuff like that, wow, the story's amazing. Okay. The story is very amazing.
But also, with doing this and taking away the restraint and the teaching that he was given to Bruce as far as not killing anyone, this essentially makes Richard Grayson a lethal weapon. And part of the program to make this memory stick, which they've partially implanted through his fake memories, is giving him the memories of killing Bruce. But part of the process which Dr. Haas has explained to make this stick is that he actually has to kill so that he can believe that he can. And in the case of Richard Grayson, who better to start with than Team Nightwing, who the Court of Owls had ordered to be eliminated by Richard Grayson himself, which, once again, I'm okay with that. But we'll have to wait and see if this actually goes down. But through all of this, this is what's been going on with Nightwing and why. I gotta tell you, I feel a lot better because months ago, when we was getting into this, I didn't have no idea where it was going. And I'm not going to front, it feels so much better now that this narrative really has a purpose. It has a perceivable end game. And it's it no longer feels like DC has just thrown Nightwing in their back pocket and just forgotten about it. But that'll do for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again in the next one. Alright, later.
He needs some milk. He's like, you're not my dad. Head ass. That's literally what he's thinking right now to Batman. You're not my dad. Oh, God. Why are you looking at me like that? Because, son, you need some help.
Hey guys,
you need some help.
So now going back into Justice League with the Year of the Villain to where Perpetua, goodness, who mind you at this point still isn't at full power, but she is getting there rather quickly. And with doing so at this point, she is the front runner for the Year of the Villain award, if there is one. Guys, this villain's been working hard, so let's get into it. But first, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to catch spills every week.
I'm not gonna lie, this painting just right here literally took 2 videos 2 videos, not 2 days, 2 videos.
Alright, so in our last talk about Justice League, we had gotten into the whole battle at the edge of the universe and the galaxy. To where at this point the heroes had made their attempt to split up into different teams, sending Willie Payton Starman here with Kendra and Shane, as well as with the Brothers 3, while 2 other groups went into the past and the future in order to retrieve the other pieces of the totality, with the plans of bringing them together and imprisoning her here like she had been many years ago. But of course this didn't work out, with Kendra running out of power at the wrong time. But the thing that had truly tipped the scale,
to be honest, I would love somebody to try to figure out how to do this picture too. Like I showed,
gaining an exponential amount of followers,
and see if anyone can actually draw it and paint it.
This then strengthened her signal,
and then tag me in it. Whoever can.
And it's like if only Instagram was here.
Well, you're not gonna win anything. You just great job. You know, good job. You got some milk.
Things with perpetual sign going up for everybody to see, and I mean everywhere throughout the multiverse. This gives us like a bit of a mile marker between the tie-ins as far as what's happening in relation to the main
and also,
event.
matter of fact, you can do your own style too.
A little bit easier to pinpoint than others, like the Rick Grayson.
Well, I probably will give whoever actually does this picture or this painting,
which is mainly your Batman Superman,
you know,
which is slightly expanded with the addition of the
I'll think of something.
This is like one of the perfect
Give y'all
examples
something,
of
you know.
things you got to keep in mind when you have multiple events simultaneously.
But you have to, if you want to do this, you have to tag me in my Instagram and everything. You got to tag me in my Instagram and hashtag I drew your drawing. I mean, I drew your painting. Sorry. Hashtag I drew your painting. My own style. Different colors and stuff, but exactly how it looks. Not all that, but you know, you have to draw it exactly how it looks. And say hashtag my style. Yeah, that's better. Hashtag my style. Yeah, hashtag my style.
Actually, we do get more information as far as what happens.
And
closer towards the conclusion of the series.
If you can,
if not at the conclusion of the series, then very early.
You're gonna get something quite cool. Ain't okay. You're gonna get something extremely cool. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. You're gonna get something cool.
Well, which I'll get into a little bit more in just a few minutes. When we get one of those blank.
And I'm actually being serious.
Mary, when she was searching for her
brother, get something pretty cool.
Who had seen King Shazam. So now at this point, with the
I will text you
multiverse to see
what is supposed to be, you know, what's supposed to be done. I'll text it to you, and
they look back and they're like, man, Luthor was right. The universe is heading towards doom. I knew I should have become a villain and took that check. And they're like, is it too late? Can Luthor cash at me? But this is also like boosted the hatred for the Justice League, with Luthor mentioning that they had failed time and time again. And with doing that, really trying to tell the world that the Justice League are the true enemy. And now with Perpetual sign up, people are taking that as confirmation, because for many, seeing is believing. But this also yet again plays into favor with people siding with Doom, just like that old song, In the Hearts of Men. Some people are just like, whichever side's winning, that's my side. And this plays into Perpetual's favor. And so now in the case of the Justice League, who's really scratching their heads at this point, because with your past and future team who have made their way back to the present and here at the Hall of Justice, it's like they arrived into the final seconds of their own defeat, which was given with an explanation.
You know, I ain't gonna lie, this is like literally like the Bible. If you think about it, and if people that read the Bible, this is exactly like it. The villains are going to be coming up first, and then God's gonna come down and whoop their ass.
But even with everybody else here on Earth,
but I'm just saying, I'm getting out of the topic.
In the Promethean galaxy, who are still out there and need a way back.
But yeah,
the heroes who still aren't sure how they're gonna fix this, like they've gone through a number of ideas.
Because even I know for a fact that they show on TV shows, comic books, and cartoons what is going to be happening in the near future.
Yeah, even though not
literally, they do that.
And he was going to use the same tactic on these.
But
really, what this is
people are too dumb to realize it. AKA The Simpsons and Donald Trump.
Prevent people from siding with Doom and fighting with the universe instead of fighting for it, which now is like the obvious plan, but it's like hindsight is 2020. And now with all the heroes having to deal with where everything's at and just really take it from here, we get a glimpse of others who have seen the sign, like Mary, who had seen it on her way to go find Billy, which, as I mentioned earlier,
so I'm not lying.
Him towards when this is happening in relation to everything else that's going on. Justice League Dark, Leviathan, Justice League Odyssey.
Just cut off the whole, it's about
multiverse, and that's another thing. Because you guys
this shit here. Just
some of the other locations or some of the other
look within the story. Read within the lines, between the lines.
One of the things that I thought was pretty interesting Out of all the people who had taken notice, like for me, it had to be Barbatos, who has been on lockdown for the longest since Dark Knight's Metal, and like this whole time with the Batman Who Laughs, he's just been wilding out throughout the full duration of Year of the Villain, and with doing so, using a lot of what Barbatos had shown him after the Batman Who Laughs had conquered us on Earth, and Barbatos introduced him to the full scope of the multiverse. But so now from here, we jump over to Earth 19, which if anyone's not familiar with, it's a very late 1800s, early 1900s type of landscape, and it even remains so in the 21st century. But in their case, with Perpetua arriving here, in addition to her sign being in the sky, she's arrived here to personally announce mainly her disappointment with this Earth and this universe being one of the few to where a mass majority of it have not sided with doom. And when she arrives here, Earth 19 Batman and Inspector Gordon, they try to reach out to the other heroes throughout the multiverse, but even with doing so, they're not able to contact anyone. And this is really a bad situation for them because they don't even have like the technology to truly combat a threat like this, let alone any pieces of the totality to have a significant chance. But with Perpetua arriving here and expressing her disgust in this universe that clings to justice, she comes through and she completely eradicates Earth 19. And with doing this, officially from this point forward, there is no Earth 19. Like she annihilated it, it's gone. And once again, keep in mind, though Perpetua has gained more power, she's still not at full power. But even in the meantime, she's still building her army, to which she has chosen Lex Luthor to lead. And while she's coming into full power, like during that time, she's pretty much going to send Lex on this mission to purge the multiverse from all the worlds, left side of justice, which will of course increase the doom percentage and tilt even more the power into her favor. But during this time, like I mentioned before, you still have Shane and Kendall, who are still adrift within the Promethean galaxy. And as far as Kendra, who's injured from her battle with Lex, she's really just overall in a bad place right now. Because one, she's physically hurt, and her and Shane are adrift in space, but also she feels a lot of the blame for that final battle not working out, mainly because she didn't reserve her power during that fight with Lex. Because at the time, the plan was for her and Starman to alternate with feeding power to the Brothers 3, but she was determined at killing Lex and she burned out too early. And it's because of this she's really blaming herself for all the failure. But even with them out here, they're eventually able to make communication back with the Hall of Justice. And at this point in time, with the heroes who are brought back from the past and the future, they really don't know what has happened out there at the Promethean Galaxy. Not exactly. All they really know is that they didn't win. But as soon as they gain communication, Batman tells Shane that they need to get him and Kendra back to Earth as soon as possible. And to do so, Batman's going to do most of the work remotely, so that all that Shane has to do is press a button. Because with Perpetua gaining all this power, it isn't but a matter of time before they get spotted. And like immediately after he says that, Lex Luthor spots them. And really doing so the same Martian telepathy methods which Shane had used on him when Shane had tried earlier to reach out to John John's within him. But with him reaching out and pinpointing exactly where they're at, just before they can jump through the bleed to get back home quickly, their ship is attacked and knocked off course. And it's like with this being done, there's no telling where they're going to end up landing. And even depending on where they do land, there's no telling how much time exactly they'll have or how long they'll last, so someone can find them, or at least they can manage a way for them to get back. Which is pretty crazy. But essentially the death of the Earth 19 universe, this essentially is just the first step of Perpetua's multiversal massacre. And at this rate of her power increasing, like any universe could be next. And it's pretty obvious that places like Earth 0 or Earth 3, that worlds like those are pretty much safe if they do without. And when I say safe, I mean like total destruction. She's still coming for everybody. But man, Earth 19 is gone. Like it's gone. It's gone. Like it's still hard to kind of process this whole thing. But even with doing all this, Perpetua then tells Lex that now this is the time for her to give him the tools that he needs, which of course are the 7 dark forces of the multiverse, which Lex also does express that this is the main part that he's been waiting for. But do keep in mind, and I'm going to keep reminding you guys like as often as I can remember, because when the Batman Who Laughs gave Lex like the plans and steps and everything he needed to do to gain this power that he wanted, the Batman Who Laughs had pretty much told Lex that this is where you're going to mess up. Because at the end of the day, Lex Luthor has to be at the center of everything. And as soon as he steps into that, that's where Lex is going to fail. And what that'll do for this one, guys, like I'm going to go ahead and make my prediction. Like I believe that the Batman Who Laughs is going to save the multiverse. And like not just to do it like out of the kindness of his heart. I'm like, why would he do that? But rather, I believe that the Batman Who Laughs is going to do this to fulfill the prediction of the Joker, who said that the Batman Who Laughs is going to destroy Lex Luthor in an epic way. Because much like in Batman Superman, the Batman Who Laughs had said that Batman Lois wins, but also with Shane saying things like "Somebody save us, please, Batman." I also kind of feel like he's going to use Shane's six-dimensional help in order to make this as worse as possible with Lex Luthor. But either way, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again in the next one. Alright, later. Hey guys, welcome back. So now getting back into our talks with the Infected, to where at this point with this one, I want to jump into a few of the tie-ins as well as talk about what's going on with the Batman Superman. So let's get into it. But first, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to catch the spills every week. And don't forget to hit that bell at the top. So please squad in the comments for the first hour.
Facts.
Alright, so picking up from where we last left off in our talks of Batman Superman, which is where most of these references will come from, with that being like the lead series to be Infected, and all the other tie-ins just kind of leading through. But where we had last left off to Blue Beetle, when he had hijacked Commissioner Gordon's rookie armor in a Trojan horse type of plot set up by the Batman Labs. And when this happened, Blue Beetle had pretty much taken over the Fortress of Solitude, and with doing so, he used Superman's resources to hack the Hall of Justice and the Batcave. And really, once he hacked and taken control of those three, he could pretty much do anything. But a few of the things that kind of fly under the radar with this, and mainly starting with Blue Beetle and Reyes, is that Batman notices that Blue Beetle is much more powerful than what they're used to, which is something pretty important to remember because in the case of Batman, who's prepared for almost anything, and I say almost anything because if he was prepared for actually everything, we wouldn't be in this situation. But one of the big things to notice is the reason why he
Almost of this during my painting, so I can actually keep on going.
Because with Batman essentially being the first person from Earth Zero to be infected, because he had this experience under his belt, he knows a good amount about the serum. Because he witnessed it firsthand, and with this experience, he even gave him the
quite easy to do so.
The whole trial using Superman by infecting Superman and attempting to use him to get more information out of the Batman Labs. So through Blue Beetle, they're introduced to the idea of the serum amplifying their powers as well, which would make a lot of sense with everything we've seen with King Shazam, who we've seen making his rounds beating down Black Adam, Ares, Growl, and a bunch of others, to whom many of which he overpowered very easily. And like when we talked about that, I remember a lot of you guys saying it.
That's coming up too, pretty soon. Coming up pretty soon.
Kid, man, let me tell you something. Like if a little kid twists my arm like that,
yeah, whoop that nigga hair.
Playtime's over.
Yeah, we're gonna learn today. We're gonna learn today. Learn how to. What we're gonna look like today.
Which reveals to us specifically who two of the other Batarangs have infected. But even with seeing this, this is another one of those moments where it's like, as crazy as the Infected series is, when Wonder Girl, Donna Troy, and Hawkman start telling Batman and Superman much of their animosity, which is buried down deep inside, with Donna blaming them for the death of Wally, for Dick Grayson getting shot, and really everything that Roy Harper's going through. Even though I believe Roy need to take a bit of accountability someday. That's a whole another topic. But maybe with these examples, we get to better understand how she truly feels.
Oh, you're gonna be really surprised after I get done with this. You're gonna be like,
and it's kind of the same for Earth 3 Carter Hall.
How can I do that? How can I do that? The fire?
But it's like you gotta keep in mind, even with doing this, it's like you just know in the back of your head.
but I'll show you the picture. I mean, I'll show you this, so you can see by the how I did it.
Underneath it all, he feels like Batman makes him stupid anytime that Batman disappears on the rooftop or in the middle of a conversation. Which, within context, it really feels like it's motivation for telling Batman and Superman like the plans of the Batman Labs, and really just the plans as far as what Commissioner Gordon knows. Because what these plans entail at this point, after assembling the Secret Six, it's here that Gordon expresses that the Batman Labs needed these
at this time
heroes, to which all of them had very different power sets, whether it be magic, alien technology, and infinite amongst others. But using them all together to bring the Watchtower satellite from the dark multiverse into this universe in order to
this is going to be something that
everyone else
pretty cool
in one fell swoop. But in order to do so, Superman is the last one who's needed in order to make it work. And I also got to say that many people probably think that this whole recipe for Secret Six is very reminiscent of the Cosmic Twin Tower, which we have seen devices which use different heroes in order to connect to a specific.
And there's two videos of this that shows you how to actually draw this painting. Somewhat.
Using the technology that both Batman and Superman used back in Dark Knight's Metal, both in the Kryptonian and using the projector, Spectre and from the Cosmic Tower, which they had later used to send Superman into the Dark Multiverse in order to bring back Batman. But this is the same technology that the Batman Who Laughs has taken from them in order to bring his watchtower to Earth Zero. And all the while with doing this, they're aware that the Fortress of Solitude has a sound alarm that only Kryptonians can hear. And with doing this, the plan is essentially to infect Superman and use him and the others to kill anyone else who comes to save him. Whether it's Supergirl, Crypto, or Superboy, but at this point the plan is just to take them out. But with Commissioner Gordon pretty much giving them this dope spill on the plans of the Batman Who Laughs, Batman pretty much gets Hawkman and Commissioner Gordon at the same time by telling them he does plan for everything, which includes someone stealing the working arm. Which Batman then sets off with a smoke screen so him and Superman can get out of there. And so it's like, with doing this, it's like, yeah, Hawkman, I do plan for everything. Hey, Commissioner Gordon, I'm out. Which is two of the things that the both of them hate the most and are key, but at the same time it also lets you know that Batman's been listening. But with doing this, when Batman and Superman get away to another part of the fortress, it's also at this time that Superman finally tells Batman that the Batman Who Laughs has been talking in Superman's ear this whole time. And Batman's more or less like, tune him out, focus on me. And when Batman says this, I couldn't more or less think like, okay, well, you know the Batman Who Laughs was a pretty darn good Bruce Wayne impression. And so that's something that could have gotten tricky at any point. But the thing is, also, after getting away from Gordon and the others, you gotta keep in mind that there's nobody here who knows the Fortress of Solitude like Superman. And because of this, he then takes Batman to the core, letting Batman know that it's also been prepared for a situation like this. Because if the fortress is ever compromised, Superman can then activate a shutdown, which will sink this entire fortress, but even doing so, lock everyone inside in order to contain the destruction, which Batman even mentions may be the price that needs to be paid in order to quarantine the infection in order to save the rest of the world. And so now with Hawkman and Donna Troy, who are looking for Batman and Superman, and you gotta forgive me, like just for saying Hawkman and Donna, I can't help but to think of Wolfman and Donna. I'm like, ask for the Wolfman, Donna, Wolfman. Because yeah, I'm that old. And technically the infected versions have different names, so for Donna it's Deathbringer, and for Hawkman it's Sky Tyrant. I had a brain fart there. I couldn't think of it. But essentially,
and now what you want to do is this now
amongst each other during the search. Batman comes crashing in as part of him and Superman's plan to distract everyone, because at this point, Superman still needs to get to the Beetle, who is Scarab at this point, so that Superman can get access to the Fortress of Solitude long enough to activate the core. But also, while this is happening, that sound alarm
something has really small
we find out soon after that it was heard by
C is very small at the end.
Throughout the Superman series, she had been held captive by Brainiac 1, but was able to get free, and not long after she heard this alarm. And I tell you, like, she couldn't have heard this alarm.
This one as well too.
Hawkman would have got one good hit on Batman. I'm almost certain that Bruce would have been done. And I know it's going to be plenty of people in the comments who's like, no, he's Batman. He's ready for anything. Alright, yeah, get it. Tell that to his medical history. But she's still arriving just in time, in my opinion. But when arriving just in time and joining into this fight, though she doesn't know, what she's doing is completely helping the whole distraction plan. Because prior to her even coming here, like, Batman and Superman had a conversation of Batman just going up against Donna Troy alone. Because facing with Donna Troy, she's like not that far from fighting Wonder Woman, which Batman has done, and he remembers everything for a moment. And so now in the case of Scarab, aka Blue Beetle, who is nearly done with building the tower, but even with doing so, there's a bit of a delay with Reyes trying to fight against the infection, even still while this is happening, which also gives Superman the opportunity to create some space between him and Gordon. And once again, Superman is doing this in an attempt to gain access to the Fortress of Solitude's computer, but also try to help Blue Beetle by letting him know that he can fight this, but also that Superman will help him as soon as this is over. But even with doing this, Donna Troy convinces Blue Beetle that he was being tricked by Superman, to which, because of the infection, he actually believes for that moment. And when they take this opportunity to infect Superman, Supergirl swoops in, she catches the Batarang, and it's like, oh, she don't feel too good. Which for me was like a very similar moment to when Shazam's sister Mary got infected. Because it's like you get that moment of like, oh no, another one goes under. But so
another one bites the dust.
Bringing what we've seen from the different series, it's here when we get the arrival of King Shazam, who arrives here now, but we talked about prior to this point what he's been doing. Because even though he's been out of the picture as far as Batman and Superman, and the whole tango leading to the Fortress of Solitude, during this time he's been infecting members of his family, and in a way putting together his own Secret Six, which was really like our first sign of a member of the Secret Six taking on plans of their own versus being
this is going to be a little shorter one, but yo, you're going to enjoy watching this in 1 second. I'd say thank you, subscribe to this channel, and have a good time. Love everybody. This is still not sponsored by no one, but yeah, peace out.